Hello and welcome to the Liverpool Connection podcast. I am Daz. I'm very happy today. I've got Lizzi Doyle from the Anfield Rap. Hiya.
Hiya, you're right.
I'm good. It's nice and early here. Not for you though.
No. I mean, to be honest, it's 3 o'clock here, but I presume it's about 7 in the morning.
No, it's 9 a.m.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, because we're
Fair
Central
enough.
Time, so it's not too bad. But the kids wake me up at like 6:30 anyway. So.
Oh no, I was fast asleep at that time. I've had like a bit of a weekend away, like a weekend break, basically. Before the footy starts, we've all been encouraged to take some time for ourselves before the season starts. So yeah, I was tucked up in bed, catching up on my sleep before the big push this week.
Yeah, I know it's a weird one. It's already upon us, so I'm just like, okay.
I know I can't believe how fast it's come round. To be honest, it's mad, and I think it's mad because the fans haven't been in. Like, it feels like so long that since I've sat in a football stadium and watched live football, and the fact that it's going to be like that for a while, I think is taking the excitement away from it a little bit, because it's going back to the way it was, which isn't the same. It isn't. It's not the same. And if you think about it, the only thing we've got to compare it to is what it was like from what. So our first game was Everton. So we're comparing the football now, which is the start of a season, which can always be a bit like hit and miss. You're not really playing for anything properly at the minute. And the before the lockdown football we won the league, and we had all this stuff to celebrate and to play for. So it's going to be strange. I think it is going to be strange.
Well, I mean, it's like the Community Shield. Like, I barely watched it on the telly. Like, it was just in the background. I just can't get into football without fans. That's why I'm hoping, when the fans do come back, that they have more of a say. Because without fans, football's kind of meh.
Football without fans is nothing. That's the saying, isn't it? It was brought up in Germany, adapted by English football, and it's true. It is football without fans is nothing. But if those fans can't be guaranteed to be safe, it swings and roundabouts, isn't it? You can say, oh, we're not in the ground, so it's pointless. But the whole point is so those people can be kept safe at the same time. It's just a vicious circle, isn't it? So.
Well, I mean, they say October, 24th is I can't see it happening.
Well, if you look at Liverpool's website, they've put some proposals out of what they think they might do, in terms of numbers and season ticket holders and members. That is quite interesting. I'm very, very, very lucky to be a season ticket holder now in my own name, which is a dream come true. Honestly, it's a dream. And the thing is, I'm not spoiled with it, because I have been, honestly, for years and years, that person on the website every week for hours and hours in queues, which would disappoint me. So this for me is a dream come true, and a ticket I've used for 2 years now. And obviously they've done the fan update and it's changed into my name. And weirdly enough, it's such a good thing that it's in my name now, because the person on the season ticket has to be the person that goes, and I share my ticket. So it's just a shame, because my brother or my dad can't go this year, but it's just health and safety first. So I don't know how they're going to work it. They reckon about 12,000 in the stadium, and it's going to be a ballot. None of the credits count. It's just going to be weird, isn't it? And we just need to cop for it, and we need to accept it and make the best of it as we can, I think.
Well, I'm actually glad, that they are using the IDs now, because all the ticket touters, the sky high. So I'm glad, but yeah, I'm the same. Every time I would come home, I would use my mate's season ticket pass and get in. Now I can't.
No,
so bastards.
It is for the bigger picture, though, isn't it? It's for the touts. It's not to catch people out. So hopefully it's a good thing, and the people who are using the tickets can, in the future you will be able to do that. It's just for this season with the health and safety, but there'll be a system where your name will be put on with 4 or 5 others, and you just maybe need to nominate it online as to who's going, because they don't want to stop that. It's just trying to take away the people who take the myth, really take the piss.
Yeah. So I wanted to ask you, what does Liverpool Football Club mean to you?
Oh God.
Put you on the spot.
Question, isn't it? Yeah, to start off with. weird because it's just such a like constant in my life. It's been there through good and bad, and it makes up a very, very big part of who I am. Like, so obviously being extremely lucky to work for the Anfield Rap as well, so it takes up the majority of my time, because if you think about how much time you spend in work, that time spent for me is on Liverpool Football Club, and then my hobby is Liverpool Football Club. So and my family's Liverpool Football Club through and through, and obviously I live in the city, so it's pretty much like, I reckon I'm about 90% Liverpool, 5% water, 5% gin and tonic. I'd say it, I guess. It's probably the makeup of me. So yeah, it's such a huge thing, and it's one of those things that like you can't really describe or explain. That it's just there when you need it. It's something, you know, you can always come back to. That no matter sort of what's going on in your life, what's going on around you, what's going on in the world, like it's there, and you've got something to take your mind away from it. You've got all these people who you might never have known before, but you come together in this weird setting every 2 weeks, and it becomes almost like a sort of weird family feel. And I don't know, it just makes up such a big part of who I am, that it's one of those things that like even if I wanted to, I could never cut ties with it, because it's just I'm sold, do you know what I mean? It's absolutely tattooed on me now. So yeah, I love it. I absolutely love it, even through the so-called bad times a couple of years ago. It's just something that never leaves you, does it?
Well, it keeps dragging you back in when you try to get back
Yes.
out.
I'm telling you, even Hicks and Gillette, you know what I mean? It's
Oof.
like we went through it all, but here we are.
Yeah, they were awful. And a lot of people, you know, will never be able to go to Anfield. So, you know, they watch through the telly. But when was your first time at Anfield?
Oh, God, it was awful. It was, my first game was, can you remember when Liverpool got knocked out of the FA Cup by Barnsley?
Yeah.
That was my first game. So that was, God, when was that? 2000 and, oh God, I don't know the year off my head. But basically I was about 14. So was that about right? Yeah, 14, 15. It must have been about 10 years ago. Yeah, that's right. And the reason it was sort of like that late is, as you can imagine, like being a female football fan, even though I was brought up around football, like in my house, it was never like the done thing to be a football fan. Like when you were 7 years of age or 8 years of age as a girl, do you know what I mean? No, none of my mates in school would know about it. We'd know about Michael Owen, we'd know about Robbie Fowler, and how they were, and that you supported Liverpool, and that was really the top and bottom of it. And if Liverpool won a big trophy, you knew about it. So it was only when Istanbul happened that, like, that year it was actually building up to Istanbul, because I just clocked onto an atmosphere that I'd never felt as a kid, and I was like, I didn't understand the magnitude of it until it was getting closer and closer, because it was seeing my brother going every couple of weeks to the match with my dad, and seeing like the score lines, and my mum explaining to me, this is what needs to happen. It's played over 2 games, and she basically explained the rules of it. So I was like, so I knew before every match what I was watching, what Liverpool needed to do to win. And that season had me hooked, like, because I knew the Champions League was at the end of it. So I watched like that sort of season of European football. And so I got into it quite late then, really, and then I started to really take an interest in it when I was probably like 12, 13, 14, and then that's when I got to go to meet my first game. Unfortunately, it was an awful result, and I'll never forget, because I was quite young, my brother took me, not my dad, and my brother must have only been like 17 at the time. So he was trying to be the sensible brother, and it was like, I think it was 1-1, and there was about 2 minutes left, 3 minutes left, and he's like, come on, let's leave, and we'll get a head start on the crowd. So we left, and we had to walk past the Annie Road, and I just heard all this banging and screaming. I went, oh, Mike, we've won. He went, that wasn't us. And I was like, oh no. So that was my first experience of Anfield, but I'm very lucky to have had probably the best experience of my life at Anfield in that 10 years. So I'll take it as my first.
Have you noticed like a lot more like girls going to the matches now?
Yeah, massively. So I mean, when I first started going, I wouldn't go without my dad or my brother. And then from the age of I was 18, 19, And I did go on my own, and even if it might have been like traveling with me brother or my dad to the match, we then like, because of, I mean, I don't need to tell anyone how hard it is to get tickets. So if I managed to get a ticket or through someone else, you never get them together. So it used to be a case of I'd have to clear off on my own to the main stand, and my brother would be in the Cop and my dad would be in the Annie Road. And that was us going the match together. As we travelled there together, we'd split off and then we'd come home together. So I started going on my own, and I think then, I mean, that was what, 5-6 years ago. I didn't notice it as much as I do now, whereas like I'm noticing a lot more women going, and it's good that they feel comfortable too, because it is an intimidating, daunting thing for such a male dominated environment to go like on your own. I think if you've got another female fan or another fan or whatever, it's not as bad, but to go as a female on your own, it's still quite an intimidating thing to do. So I'm glad to see more women, more faces. I mean, my season ticket's in the main stand, but I'm in the Auto Cup, so like the Champions League and the FA Cup and that in the Cop. And tell you what, like the women's toilets in the Cop is like my favourite place in the ground, because it's just like scouse nans and scouse mums and stuff like that. But you know what I love about it, and I know it sounds stupid, was that like you'd be in the toilet and you're hearing like these like scouse women who've gone the game for years, and they'll be going, oh, did you see that pass from Genie? Yeah, he should have crossed it, he should have squared it. But they're talking about football, and I was just like, this is it for me. Like the Cop women's toilet is where it's at, really, to get your female footy conversation at half time.
Yeah, because it's changed a lot. Because you know, my granddad took me to my first one in '76. You know, and there was no women,
No.
especially through the '80s and '90s. So more and more I see, and it's great. You know, my cousin, who's a girl, she went for the first time last year, and she was 15, and she just had like magical experience. You know, it's just great because you hear it from him, you know, and then she's just the smile on her face and everything, and you're just like, this is the best, because now I can talk to her, you know, and kind of talk about the match when I used to wouldn't be able to. So now it's just like, it's just all bringing like the family together, which is great. So
it's good as well, because you don't have to do that thing where like, as a woman, I mean, you do still have to do it, but not to the extent as what I used to, where you feel like you have to justify yourself. So when you're having a conversation and they'll think like, and then you'll say something, they go, oh God, you actually know what you're talking about. And you're like, yeah, that's why I go to the match. Do you know what I mean? So there's not as much of that anymore, because female fans are accepted. It's not unusual to see women there, and it's not unusual to be able to hold a proper football conversation the way that you would do with a man, whereas like a couple of years ago it was a bit like seen as if you were a woman, you were there for novelty and you wanted to just go to Anfield, which by the way you can do, because anyone can do that. Like no one should be there to tell you how your like Anfield experience should be or why you're going the match, but like it's good because I don't feel like people stare at me anymore like, why are you here, or sort of like throw a couple of questions at me to see like how much you know, how much I've been paying attention. Do you know what I mean? That's eased up a lot, definitely.
Oh, that's good, because it shouldn't be like that. So talking of like Anfield Rap, how did you get started? I mean, because obviously, are you the only woman for Anfield Rap?
No, so there's 2 female employees. So there's myself, and then there's also our head of operations as well. But obviously she's behind the scenes, so she's not on screen and stuff like that. But yeah, there's 2 of us in a team of 14. So we are definitely outnumbered, to say the least. So basically I worked at Radio City, which is, for your listeners, is the local Liverpool radio station. It's like the heritage station. Which people grown up listening to, and I loved it, and it was like a dream come true for me to work there and work up the Radio City Tower, which looks out on Liverpool and stuff like that. And I worked there for about 3 years, and I was a contributor to the Anfield Rap a couple of times, not much though, it was about like 4 or 5 times, and then I'd done a couple of shows on City, like some big shows where I think like they noticed the work that I was doing and basically said like they wanted to expand the team and they wanted to bring in a producer and also another woman, and I just sort of fit the bill a bit, and I've got a big gob so I can talk about footy as well. So I got approached and got asked to work for them, and it was like you're getting asked to talk about and breathe in Liverpool FC for a living. So it was like, I clearly can't say no. And it's been great. I've been there, like, so it'll be 2 years in October, but it feels like longer. And yeah, it's such a, like, if you wrote it down on paper, it's like the perfect job, really. So, you know, I know I'm very, very lucky to do what I do, and it's good to be sort of like representing Liverpool women as well. So in England, I think, like, on the national stage, you don't see many people in general from women, Liverpool, never mind women. So the more I can do, the better, really.
Well, they've done the shake up, haven't they, with, you know, dropping Phil Thompson, and
Yeah.
I forget her name. You play for England, right?
Are you on about Alex Scott?
Yeah. You know, so I think, you know, obviously we're all big Phil Tomo fans, you know, but sometimes you do have to shake stuff up.
Well, every dog has its day as well. Like, at the end of the day, and I don't mean that against Phil Thompson, but everything needs to change at some point. Everything needs to evolve, and at some point, you know, there was been a shake-up before him to get him in, and it's nothing personal against him or any of those people. It's just that, like, let's be honest, they don't represent football fans in the UK. They represent a portion.
Mm-hmm.
Like, not every football fan is a white, middle-aged, white, you know, male. They're not. There are women out there. There are people who are BAME, and they're not represented. They're getting much more representation now, and rightly so. So people just need to get off the high horses and just realise, like, this isn't a personal thing, and this is a good thing. It's a good direction, and every person should welcome it, and I don't see why you wouldn't.
Yeah, because, you know, some of my mates back home are, you know, moaning and groaning about it, and I'm just like, well, this is 2020. Like, get over it. Like, this is what the world is. You know, equal rights and all that. And they're just like, I should go back to this and this and that. I'm like, oh man, you're living in the Stone Age.
Yeah, honest to God.
Like, get over it. But also when I talk to, like, because, you know, the whole transfer saga with Gini and Thiago is actually getting on my nerves.
Yeah.
What's your take on it?
Oh, well, I am just off the internet for the time being. While this transfer window is taking place, I don't want to be anywhere near Twitter, because it is just such a misrepresentation of everybody I know. So, like, I'm seeing Liverpool fans, and I'm saying it like that because I don't know anybody personally. I know a lot of Liverpool fans. I don't know any of them who are saying the stuff that people are saying online, and replying to Gini Wijnaldum's post and telling him to leave. I just think, well, piss off. Like, I don't want you to have anything to do with our club if that's the way you're going to conduct yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Like, the grass isn't always greener on the other side. Like, Liverpool fans have been waiting 30 years for the Premier League title. We've just won our 6th Champions League. Why is why are people trying to move him on? Like, it's not as if it's, you know, you're getting a 24-year-old in with, you know, the longevity of his career to come up, and obviously his peak and stuff like that. It's literally someone of the same age who's also a world-class midfielder, and Gini Wijnaldum, whether people like it or not, is a world-class midfielder. So it's a very like-for-like thing, and Thiago coming in means Gini Wijnaldum goes. So if I hear that Thiago's coming in, it's good news, but it's bad news, because that means we're getting rid of Gini. And I just think, why would you fix something that's not broke? Like, we're not. How much are we actually adding? And by the way, he's an excellent midfielder and stuff, but Gini Wijnaldum is proven. Like, he's tested and he's proven, and he's got 2 bloody trophies with the World Club Cup and the Super Cup to prove it, as far as I'm concerned, and he doesn't need to do anything else. So I think it's just genuinely down to, like, a bodies thing, isn't it, and a contract thing. Whether Gini, I think the argument that I heard a while ago was that Gini wanted it's not even a money issue. It's to do with the length of the contract. I think Liverpool wanted like 2 years, but Wijnaldum wanted 3, and they haven't been able to meet, I think. So, I mean, I'm in the camp of Gini. I think I hope he stays. would I love to get Thiago as well? Of course I would, but that's not going to happen. Like, that's not going to happen. Not with the way that FSG work, and especially not with the way that the financial world is working in football at the moment with the uncertainties. It's going to be one in, one out. So you're basically choosing between the two, and I'd rather have the person that I know who can win a Champions League and win a Premier League title.
Well, we don't even know, like, you know, just like when we got Robbo and Fabinho, it took them a while to blend into the team. So we don't even know if Thiago will, you know, and he's injury prone as well. So these people just basically piss me off. I call them keyboard warriors.
Yeah, that's exactly what they are. Like, honest to God, if you get a chance, I mean, I don't know when this podcast is going out, but Melissa Reddy's just written a really good article on like the transfer business for journalists and for fans, and it's like, all of a sudden we're obsessed with the transfer window rather than the game itself, like, and rather than the football. Like, of course it's exciting if you're going to sign someone, but you're not a failure if you don't. And it's this idea of this pressure and this, like, really bitterness and this awful hatred. Like, it's the worst I see of football fans, the transfer window. And it used to be like at a rival football match, or like when you play each other, but I think the transfer stuff brings out the worst in football fans online. Honestly, I cannot be bothered with it. I really can't. I wish, like, it'd be banned off social media, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, and I used to, like, get on every single day and just have a, you know, back and forth with them. Because if you're a Liverpool fan, you know how FSG works. They've been here for 10 years, you know, yeah. the net spend and all that. But yet they do. People say the same thing every summer. Why aren't we buying? Why aren't we buying? Look at Chelsea. Who cares what Chelsea are doing? Who cares?
Well, there's an amazing thread that's come out today on Twitter, and I can't for the life of me remember who done it. And it's brilliant. And he goes into the accounts and stuff of, like, stuff that you wouldn't even think about that costs money. And it's like about an 18-page thing thread, and says, like, all Liverpool fans, will you look at this and realise, like, actually FSG don't have that much. They brought in a new commercial manager who was at Man United, because Liverpool's this massive brand, but they're still not exploiting the commercial market enough. They're not bringing in as much money as they can do. So they've brought in someone from United who've done it so well to up the money. There's, honestly, match day revenue comes into it. This thread which broke down how much money Liverpool actually has in comparison. Those clubs like Chelsea, Tottenham, City, United are putting themselves into debt in a way that, like, they're borrowing money, they're getting loans. And okay, as football fans, should we really be bothered about whether a billionaire or a millionaire owner, whatever, is putting more money of his into our club? Not really. But what this thread and all these accounts prove is that Liverpool is one of the most efficiently run clubs in the world. Do you know what I mean? And that does, it's no coincidence that trickles down into the team, and that they go on to win a Champions League and go on to win a Premier League, because it all comes in together. If we were a mess financially, you wouldn't be seeing the results on the pitch. Everyone's working in harmony with each other, and as long as Jurgen Klopp is happy, I am happy. Like, when he's not, and when he has some disagreements with the board and with the owners, that's when I think we should be concerned. But if Klopp is genuinely okay with everything, then I think we need to be.
Yeah, that's the thing too. You know, you get people going, Klopp must have asked FSG for money and they're not giving it to him, or they're going, well, we just made 175 mil, you know. But that pays for wages. That pays for, you know, the new Kirby complex. Like, people don't understand. And to me, you know, Chelsea spending that amount, they need to, because they were 30-something points behind us.
Yeah.
You know? So they do. They just get on my nerves. But, you know, every day I try and just stay away. But then I'll.
They don't want to hear it. You don't want to hear it. Save your breath, honestly, and just let the team do the talking. And if at the end of the season we fall short by 60 points, do you know what I mean, which isn't going to happen, then you go, okay, fair enough, then you were right. But if the team go on to win the league again. Or if they don't and they finish second and they win the Champions League, or they finish second in the league, runner-uppers in the Champions League, they win the FA Cup, then they've just gone and proved exactly that everything's all right, isn't it?
Yeah.
So,
well, I mean, Klopp's even come out and said he doesn't like a big squad either.
No, it's all about squad harmony, like, and that's why you've got to trust Jurgen Klopp, is that there's a reason why Lionel Messi weirdly would never have fitted into Liverpool, and it's bizarre to say that because I'd snap your hands off and anyone would for Lionel Messi, but I'm sorry, he sits on the bench for Mo Salah. So, and that's not to do with the fact that he's not as good as Mo Salah, because he is literally the best footballer that's ever walked the planet in my eyes. It's the bigger picture. It's the squad harmony. You can't be bringing in, like, if Thiago coming in with Gini staying would disrupt the squad and would have people, you know, with the backs up and stuff like that, then it can't work. He's put a lot of hard work into, you know, his relationships and his coaching, and that's another thing that Mel Reddy said in her article, is that you're doing down the service of the coaching. Do you know what I mean? Like, and the trust he's putting in these players, and like the sort of fringe players, and how he's trying to get them up to a certain standard. Like, there's an art to it. There's a reason why he's the best at it, and there's a reason why none of us are football managers, and why we're sat on Twitter typing keyboard warrior things at the end of the day. Who's the one that knows best? It's clearly him.
Exactly, but you know, people just don't get it. Like, he's just delivered the Holy Grail, you know, after 30 years, but people still keep moaning.
I know.
You know, and I get on there and I'm like, you know, like Shaqiri, you know, Origi, Harry Wilson. Liverpool's not going to get held to ransom, you know, to ship these players out for 10 mil. They're going to wait, and Klopp's even said it. He doesn't want to send them out on loan again. He wants somebody to, you know, buy them, and I agree with it. But most teams are going to probably wait until the last like day or two to try and get them on the cheap. That's the thing, you know. And I saw today, you know, what is it? Jamal Lewis is going to Newcastle for 13 and a half. When we, you know, Liverpool offered them 10, and they wanted 20, so they came down 7 mil. That's just the way football works, you know.
Exactly, and don't be pissed off about it just because, like, at the end of the day, Norwich are very much within the right as a relegated club who's going to miss out on all that Premier League money with such a good prospect, by the way. He's worth more. He's worth more, and they tried to get more. They didn't. They stood the ground, and you know what? Fair play to them. Nobody should have to bend over backwards just because the champions comes in. That's not how it works. Yeah. And good on Norwich for sticking up for themselves. That's not what Liverpool wanted. If Liverpool wanted a £20 million left back to play more of a part, Jamal Lewis is the right option. No, they wanted someone around 10 million who would play back up. Now, that's not what Jamal Lewis was about, and Jamal Lewis wants to play first-team football. And so he should do. He's good enough, but stop kicking off about it. Like, it's done. We've got a left-back cover. Move on. Like, get over it. It's fine. Like, it's not going to affect your life. It's fine.
That's the thing, though. It does affect them.
Oh, honestly. You'll forget about it soon, I'm telling you.
So like, let's have a mini preview. I'm so happy that we're playing Leeds for the first match. I hate them. I can't stand them. The only thing I like about Leeds, well, Yorkshire, is tea.
Oh, tea.
Yeah,
I think, do you know what? It's hard because, like, it's that thing of, like, Bielsa is so likeable. And it's probably like what the majority of the country thinks of Liverpool. Because let's be honest, like, everyone hates Liverpool. And everyone hates Scousers, but they love Jurgen Klopp and they can't help it. So it makes them go, oh, I hate Liverpool, but I like Jurgen Klopp. And I think that's what Marco Bielsa's brought to Leeds, is that he's so mad. Like, he's absolutely bonkers. And he's a good manager as well. Like, and he's really good to watch. He's dead entertaining to listen to. But they're still dirty Leeds, aren't they? Like, I wanted them to come back up. I was in the minority because I think I would rather have a Leeds come up than another Reading or a Derby or just someone boring. I think give me something with a bit of oomph. Do you know what I mean? And I feel like, yeah, it's about time they got back in and we got to get to see them play again, because I'm the generation who just miss the rivalry. Do you know what I mean? So, like, I hear about it, but because I've never witnessed it, I've only ever witnessed Everton, obviously, United, into that weird Chelsea phase and then Man City. They're the only sort of teams I've known a rivalry, but I've heard tales about Leeds and I've heard tales about Forest, and I've never seen them. So I'm like in the minority that went, yeah, go on, get Leeds and Forest back up. We got one of them, so it's fine. Yeah, be good. I'm looking forward to it. Bit of needle.
Yeah, I think that rivalry is still there. Well, the good thing about Leeds is, they'll probably stay in the Premier League. Like you were saying, like derbies and all that. They'd probably go straight back down. But Leeds will probably, I would think, will stay up. So, hopefully we'll play him for quite a few years to come.
He's got good sway as well, Bielsa. Like he would have had good sway in the Championship, but now he's got the sell of the Premiership. So he's got his name and his connections, and he's also got the Premiership. So he's got two things on his side now. So Leeds will bring in a couple of good players probably, or like if he does stay, then he's got it there to say, listen, I've got 1 year in the Premier League under me. I'll come and play here. I'm looking to, do you know what I mean? Like, look at Sheffield United with them coming up how well they done. They nearly qualified for Europe, and honest to God, unreal. And it wouldn't surprise me if Leeds had that. And that doesn't mean I like them, but for something like that, in a bit of a selfish way, I just feel like it's much more entertaining as a football fan to have a team like Leeds than a bit of a no-mark team like Norwich, unless it was us playing them with Luis Suarez. I really couldn't care less about Norwich, do you know what I mean? So.
Yeah. But again, with the no fans, again, it just takes away, because
I know
the first meeting of Leeds and Liverpool would be just amazing, and then it's just going to be.
The away game could potentially be one where there's fans, but if away fans are prohibited, which I think is the case, that's a bit rubbish. But like there's probably a likelihood that we'll get into Elland Road with fans, and that will be. That, as even if there'll only be a few thousand of them, that'll be tasty. Like they will be bang up for us coming to Elland Road, I'm telling you. So it's a shame that we're not going to have anyone in there, but like you'll feel it at Elland Road even if there's only like half of them there.
Do you do away games? Do you go?
I do. I don't get to go to them, to be honest. I get to go to maybe 3 or 4 a season, maybe a few more, dependent on competitions and stuff like that. But it's really, really hard to go to away games. You've just got to know people, and that's just the way it is. And I've been lucky enough to go. So I went to Sheffield United away, which was a good game. I went to like Villa in the bloody Carabao Cup. Like everyone went off to Qatar, like sunny Qatar, and we were on this little minibus, 13 of us, and we thought we'll just have a nice little day out and go and watch the kids get pissed and come back. So we did, and the whole away end was full. And I was surprised. I was surprised, but like there was a lot of familiar faces there. The ones that couldn't get to Qatar, but they still went to Villa to watch literally like the children play. And I've done like I went to Atletico Madrid away as well, so I get to go to a couple, not as many as I'd like, but I wish I could go to more, because I think they're the best of the lot, the away games. They've just got like they've got the added experience of the going to different places, the travelling, and the sort of extra edge in the ground and stuff like that, boss.
Yeah, when we played Barcelona away, my mate actually travelled. He's from Isle of Man, but he lives over here. He travelled, took him like 3-4 flights, and he got there, and they went out for dinner first. I had a few bevs, and then he's like, "Come on, let's go to the match." His mate had got robbed the tickets. Yeah, he put him in his back pocket.
Rookie mistake.
Yeah, and then so he missed out on that.
Right.
Poor bugger. I was like, well, if you're going to do that, get your ticket and put it in your pocket. Yeah,
always. I'd always do that. Like, I don't like being responsible. So, like, I think I held on to our tickets for Atletico away, but I'm an extremely responsible person. I have like a bag and my hands over it, and like, but I'm the same. I'd be saying, just give me the ticket and I wouldn't ever trust anyone else with my ticket. No way.
Yeah, I'd be carrying, like a safe with me. Just everyone move out the way.
Yeah.
yeah, that was sad too, you know. And he watched the match at a tapas bar.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I mean, it could be worse, couldn't it? Like, at the end of the day, you sat in Barcelona on some tapas and beer, like, but yeah, it's crap, that, isn't it? But,
yeah, he's had he went to Kiev, you know, he's been all over the place, so I kind of lived through him. Because with the kiddos, I can't really, you know, travel too much. I mean, I've been home twice last year, you know, because I'm from Formby, so I'm the posh scout.
Oh, I'm absolutely not posh scouse. I'm heightened, so I couldn't be further from it.
Yeah, it's so funny to kind of, you know, even in the Scouse community, there's different dialects. You know, you've got the hardcore, you know, like ones. Then you've got like me that's got the little subtle, you know, in there. But yeah, it's so like great to have a podcast. You know, and the lad that does it with me, he's the president of the official supporters club in Austin. So it's really good, and we've seen how much like the Liverpool fan base has grown over here. You know, you still get, you know, some again like the old guard, you know, Brits over here kind of know everything about everything, you know, and I'm not one of those. It's like, look, if you support Liverpool and you put that Liverpool shirt on or a scarf on, that's magic for me, you know.
Yeah, it's hard because like I'm fully on board with that now, but like I'm one of those people who will hold my hands up and learn you know, learn some lessons, basically, because when I first started going, like, you sort of get it ingrained in you that because you're from Liverpool you deserve it more, and you do carry around that attitude until basically either you meet people or like you start to form your own opinions. And I'm very of the persuasion that I've started to form my own opinions now, and like I've stepped away from that, and it makes me feel like a bit of an idiot, but that's just the way that sort of match going culture goes. But for me, I just look and I just think, like, I see people, and through my job I get to speak to so many people from over the world, people who travel for miles and miles and miles and miles. And I always bring up this example, and I'll bring it up again here, and I can't remember like if they're part of a supporters club, and if so, which one it is in America. But there's these two women who travelled over, and they come to the Anfield Rap office to say hello, and they've supported Liverpool for years, but it was the first match, and it was Southampton at home, and it was two women called Kate and Kim, mum and daughter, and they come over, and like I met them, they were lovely, and they said, like, have you got any recommendations? We wanted to experience Liverpool, and they were really invested in the city and not just the football club. They didn't just want to go buy a load of club merchandise and get off home. Do you know what I mean? They wanted to know about the people. They wanted to go and support local bars and restaurants as well as go for the match. But what they said was, when I was giving them some recommendations, was no matter what we do, we have to make sure that we go to a supermarket and buy a trolley full of food for the food banks, no matter what. Like, that has to fit in. That's our priority. So we'll fit everything else in around it, but that's our number one thing. Where is the best place to go, and what time would you recommend we do that? Because we're making sure that we do that. And I just was blown away by that, as someone who was from the city, who, like, there's two people coming from America that want to support like families in need from Liverpool, people who can't afford food, people who have to go to these meetings to get food. Because the thing about Anfield is it's such a, I mean, you know it yourself, it's such a stark contrast. You've got a billion pound company sat in the middle of one of the most impoverished places in the UK, and the club does a lot with the community, but it's not the club's responsibility, it's the government. And unfortunately, we're in a place where there's a lot of people who can't feed themselves. So for two people to come over from America and say that no matter what they do, no matter where they go, the first thing they wanted to do was buy food, I was just in awe of them, and I'll never forget that as long as I live. And I just think, well, that's a Liverpool supporter to me, because you're embodying everything that the club is about and the people and the city. Just because you're not from here but you want to know about it, you want to get it, you get the culture, and you want to be a part of it. And that's all that matters for me. That's all that matters.
Yeah, I think, you know, we've got different type of fans now, which is great. You know, that's one thing I try and do with the podcast too, is bring people on to tell stories, you know, about Liverpool Football Club, but about the community as well, because they go hand in hand, you know, Liverpool Football Club, the community. Like recently I had the Owen McVeigh Foundation on.
Amazing, yeah, they're brilliant.
Mark is just, he's a star, you know, I mean, with what he's been through, but I've had such a good response, you know, for people to help the foundation, you know, to send money in, or they've said, like, you know, if they go to Liverpool, they're gonna, you know, check in. And same with Home Baked as well. You know, Home Baked isn't just a bakery.
No, it's not. You
know, they do housing, which is amazing. And I try to tell people that, you know, don't just go to the Beatles Museum. Don't just go to the waterfront. Like, get involved, you know. Like, yeah, the match is, you know, your main thing, which is absolutely great, you know. But don't just go to the pub, get pissed up, watch the match, and then get on a plane home. Like, spend some quality time, like, talk to the locals, you know. That's what I try to tell people, and I think you get a better experience of you know, what Liverpool's all about.
Yeah, and it doesn't even have to be just the centre, does it? I mean, obviously when you first come it is, but in the centre there's so many different tangents. Like I always say to people, get yourself to the Baltic Triangle, go to like Kane's Brewery or around that area, experience that once, then go and do Bold Street, then go and do Hope Street. But then you've got branches off that way. I would love it. I would love it. And it's a bit of a downfall of Liverpool as a city. Like I wish they'd advertise South and North Liverpool more in terms of like Crosby, South Road, like the beaches in Crosby, or like really divert people to Sefton Park and Lark Lane and Calderstones and Bolton Village. Like there's so much gorgeous places and lovely places that are outside the centre and not that far either. So I always say to people, if you do have time and you've got time on like the Sunday, just head a bit further out, go for a walk in Sefton Park, then go to Lark Lane and have a little bit of something to eat. It's something a bit different. So
yeah, I'll tell people, you know, as well, to look up Peter Carney and his tour.
Yeah, like, Soccer in the City. Yeah.
Yeah, he's. I just had him on actually, and you know, we're only supposed to do like 45 minutes. It ended up being like hour and a half, just because.
He's got loads of stories.
Well, Peter can talk, but you know, it was more like he sent me a message afterwards. He's like, I really needed that.
Like therapy.
Yeah, being locked up and everything, you know, and I'm so happy, like, we can bring stories like Peter's as well, and it's just a great experience, you know, for people to go over and actually listen to somebody that knows everybody.
Talking about, yeah.
You know, I had Peter Hooton on as well, and another, like, you know, I grew up listening to The Farm. So yeah. I was a bit of a fanboy in the first 5 minutes, just going, oh, God, I've got you on. And he's just like, yeah, all right. Because they are...
normal people.
That circle of people, you know, are just so down to earth. Like yourself, just, you know, come on, have a chat, you know. And like I told me mate Steve, who's like co-host with me, I guarantee when you go to Liverpool, you won't have to buy a pint.
Oh no, God, no chance. You would not be allowed. You would not be allowed.
Now me, I'd probably have to buy pints.
But we buy it a pint, don't worry.
But I'm sorted for that then. So I know Anfield Rap wanted to come over because we had them booked last March, and they're going to hopefully try and come over, you know, next year, I would think. Do you ever get a chance to go with them?
I've done Brighton. I've not done any outside the UK, so I'd love to do that. Like, I've never actually been to America, No, I haven't even done the touristy New York or Las Vegas or anything like that. I've never been, and actually it was somewhere that I was looking to go, hopefully this year or next year. But obviously with the situation it is, and it's just not possible. But I'd done Brighton, and I absolutely loved Brighton, and I was quite new to the Wrap as well. But my best friend moved down there when we were quite young. Like we just finished uni and she cleared straight off to Brighton, and she's been there ever since, like for 6 years. So any opportunity I have to go down there, I will. And I've done it. They were doing a live show and they asked me to do it, and I was like, oh my God, like what on earth does people want to listen to me for? Like I don't really. It's a good laugh though. Like the shows are great, and I've been to loads like in Liverpool and watched the lads do the ones in Liverpool. Like they're such a good laugh. Like, and just talking about the footy, having a drink and doing Neil's quiz, which he loves to do with the M, by the way. And yeah, they're a great little thing to get involved with, and just it's just nice, I suppose, for people like yourself to have people sort of come over. And in America, obviously, it's not like soccer isn't the biggest sport, is it? So to have people come over that are from the city, you know, the place that you're from, and who support the same team and chat about footy is probably quite a rare thing, I imagine, for you. So
yeah, it is.
I hope you can get back over. I do.
Yeah, I actually was over, not this past year, obviously, the year before when you did the show at the uni.
Oh, yeah, I was there, yeah. It was good, the big end of season one.
You were selling the T-shirts.
I was.
Yeah,
that was me. I was
you were in the back. Yeah, bastards put you in the back.
I know.
You weren't doing the pyro.
I know. I get put on T-shirts while everyone else pyro. Honest to God, it's not fair, is it? Yeah, it was good, that show, wasn't it?
It was, because I actually was outside banging on the wall singing the Bobby Firmino song.
Oh God, that was shocking at the end, wasn't it?
I actually sent Craig the video that we took.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, with the lad that was actually climbing on top of the. Yeah. We were out there for like an hour, and and people were still like I needed to get the train back to Formby, and we could still hear him like banging away.
I love it.
It's just a great song to just keep going, you know. Yeah, but I think it lasted like maybe 2.5 hours. But yeah, that was absolutely terrific, and you know, to hear Timo on the T Street Band as well.
Yeah,
absolutely brilliant. You know,
yeah,
it did take a while, you know, to try and get a pint.
I know, but that's because so many people came, so it's not a bad thing for us. We're like, oh well, thanks for coming, but you'll get a pint soon enough.
Yeah,
there's a couple of places to get them, so it's just people don't really know about it.
I met so many like Norwegian fans that night.
Honestly, people, the dedication is absolutely incredible from our subscribers. Like, it blows me away, the sort of, like, you know, having American subscribers, Norwegian subscribers, Scandinavian, Irish, you know, London, just so many people who would travel up to come and watch us talk about football. It's quite like humbling, really, because I just think, like, I'm just a girl who's a football fan at the end of the day. Like, that's all I am. So when people come up to you and say, oh, you know, I love listening to you, or I'm from here, and it's mad. It's like I find it really quite surreal still, because to me, I'm just talking about footy with my mates.
Yeah,
that's all that I do.
The love of Liverpool Football Club is just massive. But before we go, because I know you need to get on. So what are your predictions for this season? I know I hate to ask, because you know, somebody asked me, I'm like, I didn't want to talk about it.
Oh God, I'm gonna say something which sounds a bit mad, but it's the only prediction I can wholeheartedly agree with. If we finish above Man City, I think we'll win the league. And that's all I can say, because I still don't think Chelsea, they've got such a big points gap to make up. And I think they've bought the players, and I think maybe give it another season and that gap will close. But I think with no fans, trying to bed them in and stuff like that, they're going to be better. But I still just think to make up that much is going to be too hard. So if Liverpool manage to finish above Man City, we will win the league, which sounds stupid to say, but I think that is what the outcome will be. I think it's a 2-horse race between us. Again, it depends how well they do this season. I think they'll be really wanting to win something this year, and I think it'll be the league, because they all like to brag that they don't care about the Champions League, but the second that they know they're out of the league, they want to win the Champions League. So, I mean, that's what I'd like to happen. But if I'm being honest, what I would like, obviously, is the league. I really enjoyed to see that. Like, I really enjoyed it. But I would love to win another European Cup. I just think it's special, magical, and I just don't think anything compares to the feeling of winning a European Cup.
Nah, I want to go back to Wembley. I want the FA Cup.
I'd like to win an FA Cup. Yeah, I just think that would be nice. Like,
just win it all.
Yeah, everything. Just everything is fine. Like, we didn't win the Charity Shield, so we'll just crack on and win the league, Champions League, FA Cup, and the League Cup, just for good measure. And the kids will win the League Cup for us. Harvey Elliott will be the captain.
Why not, eh? You know,
Yeah.
we can dream, so that's all we can. But I really appreciate you coming on, Lizzie.
Oh, thank you for having me.
I hope you get over to America. I hope the lads let you come to America.
If you're listening, I've got a big suitcase and a passport ready.
Well, thank you so much, and have a good, because you've got a couple more days off, right?
Yeah, I've got a couple more days off, and then I'm back in work on Thursday to get ready for the new season. So we're going to be really busy. God, there's so many shows out, it's unbelievable. Like, we've got too much content, basically, because we want to do all this new stuff and we want to keep doing this. But there's so much football to talk about that it's going to be a really hectic time for the Anfield Rap, but I think, like, it's also exciting, so can't really complain. So yeah, I'll be back to the grind in a couple of days.
All good. Well, thank you so much, Lizzie.
Thanks very much for having me. Thank you.
Cheers.